congratulate yourselves for being here, not to hear me, but because we are going to talk about what I consider to be the most difficult topic to talk about on this planet today, but it is the most important topic also, that all of us, whether we classify ourselves as white, or whether we classify ourselves as black, or any of the colors in the middle, that this is a critical topic, not only for Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for Washington, D.C., where I presently live. I am a native Chicagoan on the other side of this lake somewhere. But it is a critical topic for everyone who wants to see a planet upon which there is justice and where there can be peace. We have a very, very great problem that we must solve. And it's my belief that everyone should commit themselves to this problem. There's hardly a problem that you can mention that is impacting any place on this planet that is not a byproduct of this issue that we call racism. Let me share with you how I got started focusing on this topic. I am a general psychiatrist and a child psychiatrist practicing in Washington, D.C. It was never my intention to be a psychiatrist. After I finished medical school at Howard University and finished an internship at Cook County Hospital in Chicago, I was determined to be a pediatrician. But through a series of events, I got married. My husband was supposed to come to Chicago at the last minute. He couldn't come, and then I had to get a residency in Washington, D.C. at the very last minute and couldn't get one in pediatrics and got one in psychiatry, and I'll say I'll do this for a year, and then I'll go back to pediatrics. Well, I got stuck in psychiatry. When I was in medical school, I thought psychiatry was the most ridiculous topic. I thought what Sigmund Freud thought that just did not compute, and I just wasn't interested in it. You know, you have to pass your exams, but I did not have an interest in psychiatry as it was being taught. But once I started a residency in general psychiatry at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington, D.C., and started relating to the patients. There were black patients and white patients. But the attitude, it was a federal government hospital at that time, and the training staff was white, but there were black and white patients, but the attitude towards the black patients was they did not have the intellectual potential to talk about their emotions and their behavioral issues. And the best treatment for the black patients was supposed to be medication. Well, I am a third-generation physician. My father, he's deceased, but he was a physician in Chicago, and his father had been a physician in Chicago, and my grandfather had died in 1909, so that did not compute, that black people did not have the brains to deal with anything. And we were raised in my family to participate in the solution of the problems that black people face. We were not raised to escape the ghetto. We were raised to deal with the issues that came up, you see, and to help solve those problems. And so as I was talking to black patients in the hospital, when I would take a history, I kept running into this issue of racism. And when I was an undergrad, I attended Antioch College in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And I used to think when I was in college that economics caused racism. That was Karl Marx's theory, you know, Marxian theory, that economics was behind everything else. And I thought that even though my grandmother said the more education they get, the dumber they get. But I thought that that was what propelled this problem that we had. But then when I attempted to deal with patients who were suffering from illness because of this problem, theory is okay, but if the theory is not effective, the patient cannot get well. And I was determined to help people get well. People come in my office, I want to see the problem solved, not just going on and on and on. Solve the problem. So I just said, I've got to understand more about racism. So I read everything. And I come from a family where the people were political. They were involved in politics and thinking about political ideas. And so it wasn't new to be interested in socio-political issues, reading about them, thinking about them. But I read everything about racism, and I still didn't find the answers that I wanted. And so after I completed a residency in general psychiatry, I did a fellowship in child psychiatry at Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C. And still looking for the answers, even dealing with children and the issues that their parents face. And you would run into racism. And so I just said, I've got to find the answer to this problem. In 1967, as the cosmic forces would have it, I had attended a Black Power Committee meeting in Washington, D.C., and after the meeting, some people gathered at somebody's house, and people were sitting around, sitting on the floor, talking, eating, and I heard a gentleman on the other side of the room say, racism is a system. And somehow like a light bulb went on. And so I met this gentleman. His name is Neely Fuller, Jr. He was not a college professor. He was not a physician. But he had done something. He said something that was very profound. And as I started talking with him, it became apparent that it was even more profound than what I heard him say at that social event. And I'm going to go to the blackboard. I'm a daughter of a teacher. You know, the teachers have to use the blackboard. This cord is not going to let me move. What can I do? Oh, pull the board. Thank you. This is like slavery. Let's pull that tape up. Yeah, thank you, okay. Oh, wonderful, technology. Hi, okay. So Mr. Fuller, he said racism was a system. And he said that this system was about maintaining white power on this planet. So that would be the power equation of white over non-white. And he said the system operated in every single area of people activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Now that covers everything that we do, right? He said this system is operative. Karl Marx said that economics caused the system, caused racism. He didn't call it a system. But Neely Fuller said the system is to maintain this power equation, and that it operates in every single area of people activity. So psychiatrists, anybody that has exposure to psychiatrists, we always want to know, at least I'm the kind of psychiatrist who wants to know the why. See, if you can figure out why, then you begin to solve the problems. And children understand this. They always say, why? Say, why, Mommy? Why, Daddy? Why? And you get tired of hearing. But the child is asking a question about cause and effect. And if you can explain the why, then they can say, oh, and it's, move from that point. So I said, well, why would behavior be organized in this way? And there's no such thing as a stupid question. And even though Mr. Fuller used